Hello, my name's Kim and I'm a herbalist and storyteller. Today it is absolutely pouring down. It's February and we've got a storm passing over us in Britain, so what can I do? I can't take you outside to look at the plants, it's way too wet. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to start exploring some of the notions about what makes well-being and what does herbalism work towards in terms of its philosophy. What's it all about? And I'm going to read some words from a fellow herbalist called Paul Bergner. He's an American and he's written some really great books actually. You can go and check those out. I'll put his name in a link for you. And anyway, one of the herbal forums I'm in online, he posted this up, so I hope he really doesn't mind me sharing it. But it really touched me because the philosophy that he's speaking to is very akin to my own, and that whole sense of really what we're going to listen to is how we need to understand our place as humans in the natural cycle. And this is part of what he's talking to in these words that I'm going to read in a moment. So forgive me, videoing and all of that kind of digital world is not my expertise. The herbs are. No doubt as I go on with this I will get better and get the advice from my good friends who know about this stuff. So I'm going to have to put my glasses on and read this out to you. And in it, I'll just say, he uses the word boring, which I utterly get why he's put that in here. I'd like you to add in, whilst we're listening, I want to seed really the word ordinary, for I think that's a really valuable thing to take on board as rather overwhelmed modern human beings, that if we come back to the ordinary, it dissipates a lot of that spinning anxiety that goes on. So anyway, here we go. Here are the words. A motto for clinical herbalism. Be a boring herbalist. Put it on a sign on the clinic wall. So many people want to make a name for themselves with the next magic bullet or shiny bauble, or to dazzle people at conferences with their brilliance and knowledge of this or that arcane or modern remedy, or their access to some secret motherlode of historic remedies, when the actual things that produce transformation, slow and steady, are much more commonplace, simple and mundane. Patients with insulin resistance, adrenal disruption, immunodeficiency, and cognitive problems secondary to chronic sleep debt might be treated with the latest supplement, herb or formula. Each of these conditions separately, none of which actually would be curative. Or they might receive sleep coaching and a handful of simple sedative herbs with a strategy for timing the dosage at bedtime, and actually have it all resolved within weeks or months. Being a boring herbalist is a valuable motto to remember, because it is a cure for the psycho-spiritual tendency to want to be heroically special and better than anyone and everyone else, when the things that actually produce transformation are simple and commonplace. From Sun Tzu's Art of War, the best general never wins a great reputation, because they only fight wars that are easily and quickly won, or better still, they prevent conflict. The best herbalist may likewise never become famous, but will leave in their wake patients with new possibilities for their life. Stick to the boring basics, and you may be able to begin to use the word cure instead of treat for complicated chronic issues like diabetes or autoimmunity. Or, on a larger scale, facilitate the birth of transformation to a higher level of health, teaching habits for life for many hundreds of people over the course of your career. And the pantheon of boring herbs, if studied in depth rather than reducing them to sound bites, will do almost anything you need to support the natural process of recovery and transformation when coupled with simple and basic changes in the lifestyle and diet. Gardening is boring, ordinary. You remember the word ordinary. Gardening is boring too and requires patience and self-mastery. But you get to eat at the end of the season. Beware of anyone selling you on a magic bullet that would take the place of tilling, weeding, watering, and attention to unanticipated needs in the garden. or the patient. So I love that, because he's doing that process of where we're actually connecting ourselves back into the cycle of life. And actually, let's just delete the word process. I don't like that word either. It's an industrial word. So that's a celebration to me of slow and steady and simple. And many of the herbs that we do use, people, are quite amazed about, say, using nettle to great beneficial uses medicinally. So if you've enjoyed listening to this and want to like and subscribe to my channel, please do, and I shall do some more of these talks, because it really teases out where we find our well-being, and hopefully breaks down some of the mysteries and also the fears that we get entangled in as human beings. So thanks again for listening, and see you again.